Suicide Squad has always been built on expendable villains, but not every disappearance happened on the battlefield. Over the years, DC introduced dozens of squad members with dangerous abilities, compelling backstories, and real potential beyond a single mission. Then, without warning, many quietly vanished from continuity. Some were lost to reboots, others ignored by new creative teams, and a few simply stopped existing in DC's evolving timeline. They didn't all die heroic or villainous deaths. They were just left behind. But how do Suicide Squad members disappear so completely? Here are 10 Suicide Squad characters that vanished from DC continuity. At number 10 is Nightshade or Eve Eden. A foundational pillar of John Ostrander's iconic 1980s Suicide Squad run, Eve Eden, better known as Nightshade, wasn't just another disposable recruit. She was the team's primary mode of transportation. Her unique ability to open portals into the terrifying land of Nightshades allowed the squad to covertly deploy anywhere on Earth. Beyond mere logistics, Eve served as the book's indispensable moral anchor, constantly challenging Amanda Waller's ruthless pragmatism. However, when DC officially rebooted its universe with the New 52 in 2011, Eve Eden's rich history as a conflicted Black Ops specialist was wiped out. Modern writers instead opted to use boom tubes or Enchantress for team teleportation, permanently scrubbing her legacy as Waller's conscience. By erasing Nightshade, the franchise lost its crucial internal friction. She represented the incredibly rare operative actively trying to be a hero while trapped in a villain's world, providing a vital counterweight to the roster's worst sociopaths. At number 9 is Nemesis or Tom Tresser. Also originating from the critically acclaimed Ostrander era, Tom Tresser, operating as Nemesis, served as Task Force X's ultimate undercover asset. Equipped with experimental masks and unparalleled espionage training, this master of disguise functioned as Rick Flagg's most trusted confidant. He was the precise instrument Amanda Waller deployed to infiltrate dangerous global terrorist cells without firing a single weapon, proving absolutely essential during massive storylines like the intricate Janus Directive. Despite experiencing a brief resurgence in the late 2000s, which even included a surprising romance with Wonder Woman, the catastrophic Flashpoint event completely annihilated Tresser's established place within modern DC continuity. Following that major publishing shift, he simply ceased to exist as a viable operative, systematically replaced by much louder, heavily armed mercenaries. Consequently, the franchise sacrificed its highly grounded espionage atmosphere, completely abandoning classic stealth infiltration in favor of flashy superhumans and highly conventional rifle-carrying assassins working today. At number 8 is Nightshade or Shade, the Changing Man. Joining the infamous roster in issue 16, this truly bizarre extra-dimensional alien brought reality-warping chaos to Waller's Black Ops crew. Utilizing his powerful M-Vest, Nightshade could distort local reality, physically manifest madness, and completely disorient hostile enemy forces. He granted the unit a terrifyingly unpredictable tactical advantage that no conventional firearm could possibly replicate. However, during the early 90s, the character underwent a massive, radical overhaul by writer Peter Milligan specifically for the mature Vertigo imprint. This creative shift effectively severed him from mainstream comic continuity altogether. When the mainline universe ultimately reset years later, his valuable tenure as an operative was entirely forgotten, with the heroic mantle eventually passing to an unconnected successor during the recent Rebirth era. By abruptly abandoning him, the team lost its psychedelic weirdness. His presence previously allowed them to tackle bizarre existential anomalies and supernatural threats that standard street-level soldiers simply could never comprehend. And if you think losing one unique operative hurt the squad, the next few disappearances prove DC quietly stripped away the very characters that made Task Force X so dangerously unpredictable. We are about to look at a genuine apocalyptic god of war, and a meta-human trapped in Waller's darkest resurrection loop. At number 7 is Manhunter or Mark Shaw. Recruited into the fold during issue number 8, Mark Shaw was a seasoned anti-hero who operated under multiple aliases, including Privateer and Stardzar. As a highly trained vigilante specializing in complex double crosses alongside strict internal security, he was frequently deployed by leadership to root out hidden moles or sabotage rival mercenary organizations. Unfortunately, the publisher suddenly revamped this specific legacy during the mid-2000s, intentionally shifting all spotlight toward a successor named Kate Spencer. By the time subsequent Universal reboots occurred, Shaw's deeply compelling, morally gray history with the government program was firmly paved over. Today, while Shaw recently returned to terrorize the DC universe as the mastermind Leviathan, his invaluable contributions to the Suicide Squad remain entirely ignored by modern continuity. Ultimately, the roster lost a purely transactional, deeply cynical professional operative. Mark Shaw was never insane, nor was he a traditional costume supervillain. Instead, he remained a fiercely cold, calculating specialist who approached incredibly lethal espionage missions like a mundane yet highly dangerous day job assignment. At number 6 is Silver Swan, or Valerie Beaudry. Representing a massive departure from the classic Amazonian adversary, Valerie Beaudry officially enlisted during issue 49. She was a deeply tragic figure, ruthlessly manipulated into utilizing her devastating sonic abilities as a living biological weapon. During the massive War of the Gods crossover event, she proved absolutely invaluable, operating primarily as the crew's heavy-hitting aerial artillery. Remarkably, she actually survived her grueling tenure, found a permanent cure for her unique condition, and quietly retired in peace. However, when subsequent universe-wide resets fundamentally altered Wonder Woman's established lore, Valerie was erased from existence entirely. The publisher completely consolidated this specific winged identity solely onto Vanessa Capitelis, instantly throwing Beaudry's fascinating governmental Black Ops history into an absolute void. Consequently, readers lost a genuine redemption arc. She embodied the incredibly rare instance where an imprisoned operative successfully rehabilitated, genuinely earned her total freedom, and achieved a true happy ending devoid of grimdark tropes. At number 5 is Duchess, secretly the lethal apocalyptian female fury known as Lashina. After violently arriving on Earth, afflicted with severe, debilitating amnesia, this absolute extraterrestrial powerhouse was quickly drafted into the classic Ostrander-era roster, bringing devastating, god-tier strength to a team normally packed with standard street-level mercenaries. She officially operated under the codename Duchess, essentially functioning as Amanda Waller's absolute heaviest hitter for a massive chunk of that legendary comic run. However, once she eventually regained her shattered memories and predictably betrayed the covert team to return directly to Apocalypse, her fascinating time in Belle Reve was permanently memory-holed. Modern DC writers completely ignore her wonderfully rich history as a highly effective government Black Ops asset, now treating her strictly as Darkseid's loyal minion. By entirely abandoning her squad history, the franchise tragically lost the massive, incredible narrative tension of having a literal god of war serving time in a mundane mortal prison block. At number 4 is the Unknown Soldier. Drafted into the volatile, New 52 iteration of the Suicide Squad, this heavily bandaged, highly lethal covert operative brought absolute militaristic discipline to a roster completely populated by chaotic supervillains. Operating as a hyper-competent tactical anchor, this classic hero was updated to function as a ruthless government asset. However, after commanding a specialized splinter unit known explicitly as the Reverse Squad, he was entirely abandoned. Experiencing no final on-screen demise or official reassignment, this modern version of the soldier simply evaporated between editorial relaunches, never to be referenced again by subsequent creative teams. Dropping him robbed the book of a deeply compelling dynamic, a genuine, duty-bound patriot forced into the trenches alongside unrepentant criminals. Without his grounded, no-nonsense military presence, the squad lost its most serious tactical mastermind, leaving behind a roster lacking the crucial tension of a true soldier, trapped navigating Amanda Waller's incredibly dark, deeply cynical covert Black Ops operations today. But now, we're entering the squad's biggest forgotten assets, operatives whose unique skills and personalities have never truly been replaced, despite years of new recruits. Wait until you see the horrific, living collateral damage Amanda Waller completely erased from the record books at number 1. At number 3 is the impostor Sergeant Rock. During writer Keith Giffen's notoriously bloody 2001 Suicide Squad relaunch, the legendary World War II hero mysteriously appeared in the present day to ruthlessly command Task Force X. Throughout the entire comic run, his presence was a massive anomaly, with many readers heavily suspecting this violent leader was actually a trained imposter. In the series finale, this brilliant mystery was finally resolved. the Rock persona vanished, leaving behind only a rubber mask, while Amanda Waller officially confirmed the real Sergeant Rock died back in 1945. DC masterfully executed this massive twist and then completely buried it. The impostor's true identity was never addressed again, leaving this specific storyline permanently trapped in a dead continuity. It robbed the fanbase of a phenomenal follow-up, completely discarding a brilliant tactical leader whose genuine background was just as terrifyingly secretive as Amanda Waller's darkest, most highly classified Black Ops government files hidden away. At number 2 is Yo-Yo or Chang. Debuting during the 4th volume of the property, Chang, codenamed Yo-Yo, entered the fray as a genuinely terrified rookie gifted with unique mass-altering capabilities. His power set proved crucial for shrinking down to slip through microspaces, allowing him to extract secure data or dismantle internal locking mechanisms effortlessly. He remains best known for miraculously surviving after being swallowed whole by King Shark amidst an utterly chaotic deployment. Remarkably, this newcomer lived through that entire publishing era, untouched. However, when corporate synergy dictated a massive shift in 2016 to align the printed page with a major theatrical film release, this shrinking thief was completely abandoned. Experiencing no on-screen demise or official reassignment, he simply evaporated between editorial relaunches. Ultimately, the series forfeited the highly relatable panic inherent to a non-lethal participant. His constant terror regarding both his monstrous peers and deadly assignments offered audiences a refreshingly vulnerable human perspective among killers. At number 1 is Light or From Lime and Light. Conscripted into service alongside her superpowered twin sibling, this luminescent metahuman experienced unimaginable trauma during her short deployment. After witnessing her sister face a gruesome execution via the infamous explosive collar triggered by their ruthless handler, a completely shattered Light immediately turned federal evidence. She rapidly transitioned from a hesitant criminal to a deeply tragic government informant inextricably linked to ongoing clandestine operations. To shield her from vengeful underworld associates, authorities quickly relocated the girl into a covert witness protection program. Unfortunately, a subsequent overarching narrative relaunch soon washed away recent histories, leaving her simmering, unresolved quest for vengeance against the cruel director entirely discarded. By callously excising her personal narrative, the comic lost the horrific, living consequence of its core premise, retaining a traumatized survivor haunted by a familial execution previously anchored the sprawling, bloody spectacle with a profoundly devastating emotional weight that contemporary storyline iterations severely lack today. These squad members deserved more than disappearing. Comment who should return, subscribe now, and turn on notifications for more DC deep dives.